Robert Zinni here from 5enses. Today our guest is 5enses, the editor of 5enses magazine. He's here to talk about upcoming issues, talk about his musical influences, and also play a song from the 1910s, if you can believe it or not. So sit back and enjoy. Hello, welcome back to 5enses. I'm your host, Robert Zinni. Today we have 5enses, the editor of 5enses magazine. So it's at all 5enses show, so make sure you have that ready. Stephen, thanks for joining us. How you been?
Great, Robert. It's good to see you. You've been doing some great work, too, I wanted to tell you.
Oh, thank you. You know, keeping me busy outside of North Point, you know, keeping me young, fresh, you know.
That's what all the girls say.
So, yeah, something like that, yeah. But what about you? So let's start with some 5enses. What's going on in the 5enses realm when it comes to the publication, not the webcast?
Well, you know, as we speak, we're coming up on the monthly deadline. And so I'm, you know, still gathering some stories, working on stories that are already in. We got all our columnists all lined up and in the bag. Pulling together graphics and whatever else happens. It's a pretty busy week, actually.
Okay. Because you guys go to press or print next week, right?
We go to print right at the end of the month, right? Okay. But in a larger sense, 5enses has been evolving quite a bit over the last couple of years. I've been on for, 2.5 years now. And with the advent of COVID, it really gave us a different direction that our readership was telling us that we needed to go. We needed more reliable, newsy kind of information, particularly about the virus. But that affects so many different aspects of what culture is in our town. So our mission, which is around culture, science, like that, has really expanded quite a bit, and it's brought us a lot more interest from advertisers. It's been really positive for us, even though what's been happening with the community isn't always the happiest thing. We've been really finding our feet.
So I want to piggyback off the word culture that you're talking about, because if you look on the outside looking in at Prescott, you got the rodeo, you got the country, side of things. But what I appreciate about the publication of 5enses gives you the broader scope of all the subgroups and cultures and whatnot. So thank you for that. And you've had 25 years of publication in this town. So how has that morphed throughout the last quarter century?
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I'm a communications professional going back a long time. And when I got to Prescott, almost within the first couple of months, I got pulled into public media. A friend of mine was going off the board of the Access Channel and wanted me to replace him. And I did 9 years there, most of them as chair, just trying to keep the lights on and keep the wolf away from the door, and to try to keep the mission evolving as the media landscape was changing. Now, public access is in a way different space because everybody's got a camera in their phone. But the mission of public media, more largely speaking, is more important than ever, of information that you can trust, that's sourced in your community, that is supported by your community, and not coming from a corporate or a political stance somehow. It's vital for the democracy, even. So I did close to 20 years in public radio, in addition to the cable access stuff. Just chipping away at it every week, doing stories, doing shows that could help connect people with community, let people know what's going on in the community, let them know what's good, let them know, how they can be involved, how even just as a regular voter you can make a difference. It's really important to let people know that they're not alone in their own, in their own attitudes or feelings about the community, and that there are positive things you can do. And we try to bring that up in 5enses as well.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And you hit a good point about wanting to keep media local, because you don't get all those opinions. Like if I go on any of the major news things and I hear one of those personalities talk, it's all opinion based. It makes no sense. And then when you see somebody in public and they parrot that, it's like, you don't really have your own opinion, So I appreciate that. So why is it that, besides like the community aspect of it, why is it important that we get away from the commercial, the political, talking heads on mainstream media?
Well, what you see on television now is the easy stuff, the cheap stuff. It took a lot more commitment in the old days to do straight news on a large scale on television. It's very expensive. Just the research is huge, and it's all back-end costs. And so the commercial networks, they're going to drift, particularly in the current advertising environment, which is moving everything online. So print publishers, radio, television, they're all competing with online for the advertising dollars. It's the advertising model that makes things difficult for them. If eyes are elsewhere, the advertisers go elsewhere. And so you don't have the resources to do the things you used to do. I get that. But you've got these 24 hours to fill.
Yeah.
So what do? You come up with, talking head shows, people who can spout, it's, you can do it on one camera, right? It's so cheap, right? And somehow it keeps people engaged most of the time. But it also diverts from the reality that you want people to know about, from the important things going on in the community. And so when you're sitting at home watching satellite television, you are disconnected completely from everything around you. You're in a completely abstract space. And that's very difficult. It's very difficult for people in the town who are trying to do something to connect with the people who are there as potential audience, as involved citizens, whatever. It's hard to reach people in this town.
No, I agree. And like when you're saying when you're in your bubble, like I can sniff those people a mile away when it comes to like the talking heads, because all they do is repeat it. And sometimes on those major like networks, it doesn't apply to Prescott. Like what they spout on both ends, it doesn't apply here. And then going out in the community through 5enses, I've seen that like, we all kind of share a similar vision. It's just some people are on one side, the other on the other side, and we just try to get together to build this community,
I always say that, that the political division is engineered. 95%, 97% of the things that really matter, we all agree on, just being Americans. But you have to think in that kind of detail all the way down. What's really important down there? So I try to bring people together by showing them what they have in common, by pointing up the things and the people who are making a difference in the town and giving them a little boost and letting other people know, yeah, this is happening. Yeah, this is good. And you can be in on it too.
Exactly. The unsung heroes every day, in Prescott. Now, so I appreciate about that. So let's switch it to a better topic. So you are also a musician, right?
Yes, which is why I'm so, that's why I have so much money.
Hey, I get it. The artist lifestyle, you don't get a lot of fame and glory, but it's for the soul, right?
It's a choice. It's a choice we make when we're very young, and for somehow most of us, we just can't escape it. It's not like you have much of a choice.
Yeah.
Once you've decided, to do art, to do visual art, to do performance art, to do music, to do theater, to do anything, it really takes a lot of your life, and it becomes a core part of your identity, everything else. So yeah, there's kind of no getting away from it.
So you play guitar, correct?
I play guitar. Most of the time around town, I've been playing bass.
Okay.
I've been playing a lot of guitar since the pandemic, just because everybody's been in their little bubble at home. But I've been getting into singing a lot more.
Oh, really? Okay.
Working with old songs.
Yeah, like what kind of old songs? Are we talking like more rockabilly? Are we talking about like 40s ragtime? Like what are we talking about?
Most of the things I do were made between 1911 and 1940.
Okay. So are you talking like big band standards or folkish?
Well, some of those songs I do, some of the big band style songs, but big band was later. Big
40s,
big
right?
band is wartime, really. What I do is kind of pre-war pop songs, trad jazz.
Okay.
A lot of people will recognize that kind of standard. The things that came into the jazz idiom from popular culture.
Okay. So why that era in time is what you want to play now?
Why that? The lyricism, the harmonic structures, the melodies are very good, very professionally built, particularly after World War I, when things got a lot more organized and professionals were doing pop music for a living every day, right? And these tunes are familiar to people, but they won't be tunes that you think are familiar.
Okay.
It's not what you bring to mind. It's not it's not Sweet Home Chicago or whatever. It's things. Oh yeah, I know that. And with many of them, and I really enjoy this. I can do the research, dig down into the old sheet music, and find lyrics and sections of these songs that you don't normally hear at all anywhere.
Either somebody just go in and like delete them, or it was kind of like the Catholic Church where like, we're gonna have this, meeting, take things out that we don't like.
No, it's not censorship.
Okay.
No, it was the size of the waxes in 78s. You only had 245. You can only do so much time. So you cut those pieces, and then they became standard that way.
Okay. So somebody like my generation, would we even know the music that you're playing? You
will encounter this music in film.
Okay.
In cartoons, in in music, in background music, and anybody with who's like got it going random on Spotify, some of these things will come up. You might spot a little Nat King Cole here or there, and a little Duke Ellington, whatever.
Taking the A train, right?
Yeah,
I love Duke Ellington. Mm-hmm.
Big hit, huh?
Yeah, my mom used to play that all the time, and I used to call him Duck Ellington, but
I'm going to say you probably know a lot more than you think you do.
Okay.
Because it's just so embedded in the culture for 100 years.
Right, and then from that era you went more to jazz, then like you said, the big band, and then once Miles Davis came with jazz, then it really took off in the 50s.
Whole different direction for jazz, and it's a really completely different kind of music that doesn't really relate much to what I do as jazz.
Right. So why music? We talked about how you were talking about when you go on that artist life, you could do painting, visual arts, whatnot. But for you, why is music like your soul?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, it's like it chose me. It starts with, I built that Heathkit radio in 7th grade, and I had this AM going in my ear pretty much constantly right through high school. And you just soak up the tunes, soak up the tunes, soak up the tunes. And then oh, well, I get a $15 guitar for my birthday, try that out. It's way better than the trumpet that I was terrible at.
That you were forced to play in grade school, right?
Not forced to by any means, but it was, sad. But then, I play a little guitar and I'm doing something else, and a guy says, oh, you play a little guitar? Well, then you can play bass. Bass is easy, right? I need you to play bass for me. And I says, okay, And you do some stuff and you find out, well, yeah, I'm not bad at it. At least from the perspective of somebody who's brand new, which is easy. And you just keep doing it.
Nice.
I've had many bands over the years, many projects. And it's just a theme that's always been there and probably always will be.
Nice. Do you find it when you get new bandmates, like there's a time of how you communicate via your instruments? Do you see like you gel pretty fast, or does it take time for the process for the communication with your counterparts?
It really depends on the person's expectations coming in. Working with pros, they'll walk into a room and say, okay, what do you got? Lay out the chart, let's go. If you're younger and you're working with other people who are younger, and you have a more open vision about what you might want to do, and you don't know what you want to do, then you spend some time, speaking just as a musician, you spend some time working in the room, playing with each other, figuring out what your capabilities are, what your predilections are, what you like. And you hack away at that, and then pretty soon you're cutting off the stuff that you don't want, and you come down to the hippopotamus you do want to sculpt out of the rock. So,
okay,
but it's really a personality process. It's all about relationships, mm-hmm. and it's very hard to make art with somebody that you don't have that sort of basic connection with, sort of a tribal connection. Mm-hmm. I recognize you. You're the kind of person that I am. We share these things. Bringing contrasting characters in, or, people with outsized expectations or the wrong expectations, it always leads to conflict.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I get that, especially like with the film aspect. Like, I like to work with people that at least share the same vision. We can crack the same jokes, and then when we get into the writing process, if we have to compromise, it's usually like a good 30-minute conversation about why or why not. But I get that. Yeah, mm-hmm. You have to. When there's friction, or like when you get like a vanilla person to like collaborate with, you're kind of like, ooh, I don't know if I can do that. But I know that you brought your guitar, and you're gonna play a little tune for us, I think.
If you like.
Yeah. Are we going to be doing some of that old pop music?
There you go.
All right. Awesome. And I just want to let you know, or at least invite you, next time you're on the show, I think maybe we do a tutorial of that really great game called Crocono that we played years ago. Yeah, and John Duncan was very surprised. I was like, yeah, we can talk about Crocono. And then he thought it was an instrument. So I always like that.
Now you've teased everybody.
Exactly.
That'll be an interesting show.
Yeah, we can walk through it, then we can shoot how to play it. It'll be good. But with that, Stephen, thanks for coming on our show, and everybody at home, just sit back and enjoy this next tune.
The night was kind of dark and you could hardly see. The moon refused to shine. There's a couple sitting neath the willow tree, for love they pine. Little maid kind of afraid of the dark, and so she says, I think I'll go. The boy began to sigh, look up at the sky, tells the moon his little tale of woe. Oh, shine on, harvest moon, up in the sky. I ain't had no loving since January, February, June or July. Snow time ain't no time to stay outdoors and spoon. So shine on, harvest moon. A little while ago, I managed to find the original sheet music to this song. And I thought, oh, this is so cool. There's Ruth editing on the cover. Someone my great aunt knew back in the 20s in Chicago. But the greatest thing about it, it has the second verse. I can't see why a boy should cry when by his side is the one he loves so true. All you have to say is, won't you be my bride, for I love you. And why should I keep telling you this secret when I'm pretty sure that you can guess? Harvest moon will shine, smile on all the while, if the little girl will answer yes. Oh, shine on, harvest moon, up in the sky. I ain't had no lovin' since January, February, June or July. Snow time is no time to stay outdoors and spoon. So shine on, harvest moon, for me and my gal, ooh, for me and my gal.
All right, everybody, let's give it up for Stephen Ayres. Thank you for being the guest. Now I understand the kind of music you're playing. I really, really like that.
All right.
And for you viewers at home, if you want more information, go to 5enses, MAG.com, like us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until next time, use all your senses. See you back on the 5 Senses webcast.